Why can't fish drown in water?
Have you ever wondered, can fish drown? They live in water all the time, so what's the deal? Fish get their oxygen from water, not air. They use special parts called gills to filter oxygen from the water they swim in. While we breathe air into our lungs to get our oxygen, fish swish water through their gills to collect their needed oxygen. But here comes the tricky part. If fish don't have enough oxygen in the water, they can actually drown. It's rare, but it can happen if the water gets too warm or is super dirty, because then it doesn't have enough oxygen for the fish to breathe. Also, fish can't survive in any type of water. For example, most fish can't change from salt water to fresh water quickly. It would be like us trying to breathe something that isn't air. Isn't it fascinating that fish have found such an incredible way to breathe underwater? So next time you watch fish in an aquarium or swimming in the ocean, remember they're doing their version of breathing right in front of your eyes.
Can you imagine seeing a sunset on Mars? It's not the color you think.
When you watch a sunset, the sky usually turns beautiful shades of orange and red, right? But what if I told you that on Mars, sunsets are blue? You heard that right. If you were standing on the dusty surface of Mars and watched the sun dip below the horizon, the sky would glow with a blue hue. This otherworldly phenomenon happens because the Martian atmosphere is full of fine dust particles that let more blue light through, just opposite to what happens on Earth. And there's more. Unlike the quick sunsets we're used to, a Martian sunset lasts for about 2 hours because Mars rotates slower than Earth does. So an evening on Mars gives a whole new meaning to chilling out watching the sunset. It makes you wonder, what other colors might sunsets be on different planets or moons? Are we missing out on an entire palette of cosmic sunsets? It's like nature's own light show, but the stage is a whole different planet. Mind-blowing, isn't it?
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? They're surprisingly good at it.
Here's a fun fact that might sound like a joke. Elephants are really good at hiding in trees. Now, you're probably thinking, that's crazy, an elephant can't climb a tree. And you're right, they can't climb. But imagine if they could, wouldn't they be the champions of hide and seek? The punchline of the joke is, because they're so good at it, that's why you don't see them. In reality, elephants are too big and heavy to climb trees, but they are masters at hiding in plain sight in other ways. For example, their gray skin helps them blend into their environment, like the savannas or forests, especially in the twilight hours. Despite their size, they can move silently and can be just a few yards away without you even noticing. So next time you see an elephant at the zoo or in a documentary, remember that if they could hide in trees, they'd probably be the best at it. It's a little reminder that nature always has a sense of humor.
Is your brain really a sugar monster? Find out why it's a sweet truth.
Guess what? Your brain is kind of like a sugar monster. It might not be snacking on candy bars, but it sure loves glucose, a type of sugar that fuels almost every activity it performs. Even when you're sleeping, your brain is gobbling up sugar to keep things running, like dreaming, or just making sure you keep breathing. This tiny organ, only about 2% of your body weight, chomps down on roughly 20% of your daily sugar intake. That's like having a whole separate breakfast just for your brain. Why does it need so much? Unlike other body parts, your brain can't store energy, so it needs a constant supply. But don't get tricked into eating more sweets. Your brain gets its sugar when you digest healthy foods like fruits, veggies, and grains. So, if you ever feel like your brain is in slow mode, maybe it just needs a little sugar boost from a piece of fruit. Remember, the next time you're learning something new or solving a puzzle, you're feeding your inner sugar monster with knowledge snacks.
What's the secret power of pizza? The science behind why we crave it.
Have you ever wondered why pizza is so hard to resist? It's not just magic, there's science behind the power of pizza. It's all about the perfect combination of ingredients that make your taste buds and brain super happy. When you take a bite of pizza, the cheese delivers a tasty dose of a chemical called casein. This casein breaks down in your stomach into casomorphins. And guess what? They actually hook onto the same brain receptors as some addictive drugs. But wait, there's more. Tomatoes are full of an acid that creates a subtle, tangy taste. tickling your umami taste receptors, which are responsible for that savory flavor everyone loves. And let's not forget the dough. It's the crispy, chewy vehicle for all that cheesy, tomatoey goodness. Plus, the carbohydrates in the dough help to release a feel-good brain chemical called serotonin. All of these elements create a combo that's not only delicious, but also emotionally comforting. So next time you reach for another slice, remember that your craving has been carefully crafted by a storm of science in every bite.
Can birds actually dance to a beat? The rhythmic secrets of the animal kingdom.
You might think that dancing to the rhythm of the music is something only humans can enjoy, but guess what? Some birds can actually groove to the beat, and it's a pretty incredible sight. Scientists have found that parrots, cockatoos, and some other birds can move in sync with musical beats. This talent is called beat induction, which was once thought to be uniquely human. It turns out that these birds have a special ability to pick up on the tempo of a song and bob their heads, tap their feet, or sway to the rhythm just like a human would on the dance floor. Why can they do this? Research suggests that it might be connected to their ability to mimic sounds, which is also seen in their talent for copying human speech. These birds have complex brains and a sense of timing that enables them to anticipate when to move with the music. So next time you see a parrot tapping along to your favorite tune, remember, they're not just copying us, they're feeling the beat on their own. It's a little reminder that the love for a good beat is shared across species.
Volcanoes are explosive, but can they create water? The steamy secret revealed.
When you think of volcanoes, you might imagine red-hot lava and ash clouds. But did you know that volcanoes can also be a source of water? That's right. During a volcanic eruption, not only is molten rock spewed out, but huge amounts of steam and gases are released as well. One of these gases is water vapor. Deep beneath the earth, water can get trapped in minerals and rocks. When a volcano erupts, the intense heat and pressure cause these rocks to release the water in the form of steam. As this steam cools and condenses, it can form clouds and eventually fall as rain. In fact, some scientists think that billions of years ago, volcanic eruptions on Earth helped to create our oceans. Massive and frequent volcanic eruptions might have released enough water vapor to fill basins and carve out the early landscapes with rivers and seas. So despite their fiery reputation, volcanoes have a cool secret. They're one of Mother Nature's very own water factories. Isn't it amazing how something so destructive can also be a source of life-giving water?
Why ice cream headaches happen. The brain freeze phenomenon unwrapped.
Have you ever chowed down on ice cream and suddenly felt a sharp pain in your head? This is known as a brain freeze or an ice cream headache, and it's a real thing. So what's the deal with this chilly sensation? When you eat something cold really fast, like a big scoop of your favorite frozen treat, it chills the roof of your mouth. This causes blood vessels there to constrict quickly due to the cold. Your body isn't a fan of this sudden change, so it responds by rapidly opening these blood vessels back up. This quick open and close movement causes an increase in blood flow. And voila! Pain sensors in the area get triggered, and they shoot a signal through a nerve that's responsible for facial feeling. Your brain gets the memo along this nerve pathway, but it gets a little confused and thinks the top of your head is the problem rather than your mouth. That's why you feel the ache in your noggin. Luckily, brain freezes don't last long, and now you know the chilly truth behind them. It's all about protecting the noggin by keeping the blood flowing.
The sweet truth. Chocolate can be a vegetable?
Believe it or not, chocolate is made from a plant, which technically makes it a veggie treat. Chocolate comes from cacao beans, which are the seeds of the cacao tree. This tree grows big, pod-like fruits, and inside them are the precious beans used to make chocolate. To get from bean to your favorite chocolate bar, these cacao beans go through a lot of steps. They're fermented, dried, roasted, and finally ground up. That's when it transforms from a bean into the chocolate we all love. Now, even though we say chocolate is from a veggie, it's a bit different from munching on a carrot or a stick of celery. Chocolate has sugar and other ingredients added to it, but at its heart, it is from a plant. So next time you nibble on a piece of chocolate, you can think about the far-off cacao trees with their peculiar fruits. It's not the same as eating your veggies, but it sure is a fun fact to sweeten your day.
Sluggish architecture? Can snails really sleep for years?
Have you ever been so tired you joked about sleeping for a year? Well, for some snails, that's no joke. It's real life. Snails can sleep for a very long time. When the weather isn't giving them what they need, like if it's too dry, they can tuck into their shells and take a long nap. This isn't like our nightly sleep. It's more like a super deep sleep to save energy, called hibernation. Some snails do this for a few months, but others can keep snoozing for years. There's even a record of a desert snail sleeping for over 4 years before waking up as if nothing happened. They close off their shell with a layer of slime that hardens to keep moisture in, and they chill out until conditions outside get better. Imagine snoozing through whole seasons and waking up years later, fresh as a daisy and ready to chow down on some leaves. It's one way these slow-moving little creatures have adapted to survive the not-so-great times. So, while we can't sleep for years, we can definitely marvel at the snail's ability to hit pause on life.